It is very, very important to note there was never any imminent threat to our fellow New Yorkers. This was, I'm going to use my own word here, this was a conspiracy that was undercut before it could turn into something dangerous.
Welcome back. John Bachman here alongside Vera Gibbons. You just saw New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio there talking about those two New York City roommates, Vera. And
I'm from New York, so this concerns me.
Well, this is happening in a lot of places where these folks are trying to join ISIS. They may have posed a threat to the city, but de Blasio doesn't think so. Those two women, they were arrested on charges of trying to build a bomb and launch a Boston Marathon inspired attack. Also with us for this discussion is Newsmax contributor Larry Elder, as I mentioned, coming to us live from the secret Newsmax bunker in Los Angeles. Larry, do you still have water?
I still have water.
Okay.
Great.
All right. I know you're not showering right now to comply with the governor's wishes, but let's talk about the situation. De Blasio has already ruffled a lot of feathers with a lot of things he's done in that city, but he seems a little flippant about the response to the arrest of these two women.
Well, I think that many of the mayors around want to make sure that people feel secure, and so they don't want to hype up anybody's concerns. But I'm with you. This is a real problem around the country, this homegrown terrorism, and the way the terrorists have used social media to inspire Americans. It's very, very scary.
But Vera, as a New Yorker, you look at de Blasio's tact here, and then you compare that to the way Giuliani and even Bloomberg handled
Giuliani,
things.
I loved. Yeah, the way he handles things is just out of control. I mean, I live on the Upper East Side. My trash sits there, as I was telling you during the break, for days on end. He's never on time for the meetings. Looks like he was potentially on time for this one, but the way he reacts to a lot of things is just very questionable.
Yeah, I mean, he seems concerned about the horses in Central Park while brushing this stuff aside. Now, Larry, I want to ask you, I mean, you can calm down your electorate and your constituents, but at the same time say, look, this is a reason why we all need to still be so vigilant. You hear from the neighbors of these two women, oh, we were completely shocked. We had no idea.
Yeah, it's a balancing test. On the one hand, they want us to be calm. On the other hand, they say, if you say something, see something. So it's a bit of a contradiction, but one more time, it's all about making sure that the public is calm and is reasonable and business activity is not interrupted.
Now, at the same time, guys, we do have these cases. As the Boston Marathon bombing trial continues, we have these several cases where folks have either been arrested trying to leave this country to join ISIS, or in this case, two women arrested in this country chatting online. I mean, I guess in some ways, Larry, we have to feel like, you know, these guys can't be wrong, the federal investigators, but the surveillance systems do seem to be working a little bit.
Well, how else are you going to find the bad guys? These are people that are conspiring among themselves. How else are you going to find out who they are unless you do infiltration, especially infiltrating places like mosques? The Boston Marathon mosque should have been, I don't know whether or not it was infiltrated, but it certainly should have been. If we don't do things like that, that's going to disturb certain people, we're not going to be able to prevent some of these terrorist activities before they happen.
Yeah, I think a lot of this has been lost in the conversation. I mean, there has been some discussion about the ineffectiveness of these NSA and type programs, but how do you think they're finding out about this stuff? Obviously, by looking at what people are doing online.
And it's always someone who you say, like, they're nice people, they're quiet and everything else. It's just amazing.
Well, I think they're trying to appear nice, of course, right? Let's also talk about another concern today, guys. We're talking about the situation with Iran. Let's take a listen to what John Kerry had to say after the announcement of this framework deal.
What's to say that Iran's not going to come back when you're doing the final negotiating and try to reopen all of this?
Then they don't get an agreement. I mean, look, we're very clear about where we are. I'm quite confident about the parameters as they have been articulated. They will have a narrative that is different from ours, obviously, and we will have what we have.
All right, so obviously John Kerry has got to try and sell this now on behalf of this administration. At the same time, Larry, we heard from Alan Dershowitz saying that with Bob Menendez kind of out of the way, dealing with his legal troubles now, the Democrats don't have a guy to rally support in the Senate to push back against the president. Do you think that there is still enough political will in Congress if the deal starts to look really bad where they can stop it?
Well, John and Vera, what bothers me is that this has become so partisan, become Republican versus Democrat. I thought Israel was our friend, the only democracy in the Middle East, and I thought the idea was to make sure that Iran did not get a bomb, because the bomb won't just affect Democrats or Republicans, it's going to affect both of us. And I share Alan Dershowitz's concerns in addition to one other one, and that is whether or not the sanctions are going to be lifted right away. Kerry and Obama said they'd be lifted gradually, rewarding Iran for complying, but the chief negotiator within hours of Obama and Kerry during their victory lap said said that they were lying and that the sanctions would be removed immediately. So we can't even agree on what this framework says, let alone on what the real deal is going to be.
Yeah, we really don't even know. I mean,
No.
there's been some
a lot
sort
of details still
right.
need to be. But the victory lap seems to be his thing.
Well, I mean, you know, like I said, they got to try and sell
Yes,
this.
right.
What was more concerning for me is seeing the victory lap in the streets of Iran, and you know, they don't have the access to free information like we do. They can't question their government in the way that we can, and so they are obviously being sold this bill of goods, and they think that they have essentially won in all this debate, Larry. I know a lot of this has to do with the belief that the sanctions are being released as well, but it's a victory for them.
John, you think our access to information is better than the Iranians' access to information? I'm just kidding. Look, there are lots of problems with this deal, including, again, Obama and Kerry both said it was going to cause them to roll back some of their nuclear facilities. Rouhani, within hours, tweeted that not a single nuclear facility or installation is going to be rolled back at all. So I'm not even sure we're talking about the same deal here.
Yeah, you know, wake me up on June 30th or whenever the deadline is and let me know what happened on this issue. And I think when you look at a lot of Americans, they're not really tuned in on this. Maybe here and there, but we don't know what this is going to mean in the long term. There's just a lot of concern, I guess.
No, we don't know. And you're right. A lot of people are not paying attention to this. I guess the assumption is that President Obama is not going to do something that's going to cause the destruction of Israel. But when you hear what Benjamin Netanyahu has said, he feels that Obama has put Iran on a course where within a little bit of time, depending upon how you read the agreement, they'll be able to enrich to their heart's content.
Well, Larry, just let's leave Iran for a second because I didn't get you a chance to weigh in on this religious freedom issue, but a lot of comparisons have been made between the gay rights movement and the civil rights movement of the 1960s. What's your take on that?
Well, I look at this thing very, very differently than Alan Dershowitz does. I look at this as a property rights matter. If a Klansman walked into my floral shop and said, the Imperial Wizard just died, I want you to do his funeral, what kind of array can you give me? What are your prices? And I throw him out of my store. Really, I've done something wrong? If somebody from the Westboro Baptist Church, the one that does not like gays, walks into a t-shirt shop owned by a gay couple, and they say, I want you to print anti-homosexual passages from Leviticus and Romans on a t-shirt. What time can I come back and pick up my t-shirts? And he gets thrown out of the store. You're telling me that the people that threw him out of the store are the bad guys? Why can't we just talk about private property, freedom of association? If I don't want to do business with you, I don't have to, and let the market hammer me. You saw what the market did to Chick-fil-A. You saw what the market did to Donald Sterling. Let the market handle that.
That's true. As a capitalist would say. Larry Elder, thank you so much for being with us.
You're
You're going to be around for the rest of the hour, and we'll continue our conversation. Vera Gibbons is going to stick around with us, too. We'll check back in. For the time being, though, we're going to take a short break. We're going to send it over and give everybody a little primer on what's going on in the world today. A quick, short Newsmax Now update is coming up. But Vera Gibbons, John Bachman in for J.D. Hayward today. Wishing everybody a happy start to the Easter weekend. Also a happy Passover for all of our Jewish friends out there as well. Stay with us. We're coming back.